In this video, we want to talk you through the pros and cons of residentials and HMOs. So our portfolio is mainly made up of residentials, but we do have a couple HMOs that we're currently renting out to contractors. So the pros for residentials:
they're easier to manage.
One of the cons is void risk. So if you've got one tenant in there and they move out, you've got no one else paying that rental income.
Another pro, they're way more reliable. Once you've got someone in there, they generally stay years, to be fair.
You do another if you want.
Another one is, compared to HMOs, there's less wear and tear. Because when someone rents a in our experience anyway, when someone rents a residential, that's their home. They look after it. Whereas when you've got contractors coming in and out week by week, or people just renting it for the weekend, they do show it less respect. So that's another pro for a resi.
The biggest con for a residential compared to a HMO is lower rent yield. So that means, compared to a HMO, the rental income that you're getting off them is a lot less. That is the biggest con for a residential.
And I just kind of covered it there, but longer tenancies, because, like I said, when someone moves in a residential, in our experience, they do tend to stay for years. So on the HMOs.
Yeah, we'll move on to the pros and cons. Brian, if you can flip the page of it. So we read off the sheet. I
was trying to
I do it on the slide. So I'll go first for this. So HMOs, you've got to abide by the fire regs, and you've got to comply with all that sort of stuff, fire doors, wired in smokes. I won't get into it all.
HMO license.
HMO licenses, yeah, fire regs. So this will just add cost, and getting the HMO license isn't easy, but it is doable, but it's just another con to think of.
The biggest pro for a HMO, and the reason why they're so popular, is just the cash flow. They cash flow so much more money than residentials. It's way higher. It's way higher. It's a massive pro for HMOs.
So another con is this can be sometimes hard to fill, or you have a high turnover of guests. So sometimes you could have a few months where a load of workers, contractors are in there, or then you could be quite sparse, just a few days here and there. So you've got to manage that well.
Sometimes they will value the mortgage companies when you're refinancing out. They will give you a valuation based on the income that it brings in. It's not always, but sometimes they will. So that can be a pro, because if it's bringing in a lot of money, they can value it higher for you, and you can pull out more money. So that's a pro.
Another con is management side of things. So if you have guests coming in and out, maybe you're renting to professional workers through the week, and then it's on booking.com or Airbnb of the weekend, you've got to kind of manage people coming in and out. You've got cleaners to do, and then you've got management fees as well, which you've got to take into account when you're working out your profit and things like that.
Another one is for a pro, it spreads the risk. So if you've got a 4-bed HMO and you've got all 4 rooms filled, if the tenant if one room decides he's moving off somewhere else, you still got the other 3 people in there paying, so you don't have like a gap. You still making money while you find someone to move in that 4th room. So it does spread the risk.
Con, bills. So if you've got people in there, you're covering all the bills, and unfortunately, they'll just use the heating and use, the electric full whack. So that's something you've got to take into account. You've got council tax as well, unless you rent to university students, and then you'll be tax exempt. So just be thinking about that when you're looking at areas where to rent out to, where to buy HMOs.
And another pro for HMOs, they can, in certain areas, they can have high demand. The, where we live, Sellafield's massive for contractors, near the universities, high demand. Some areas do have high demand.
Last one for the cons side is setup costs. So obviously you've got to furnish it, you've got to kind of set it up nice. It's the same as a residential, to be fair, you've got to tidy it up, but it's all the setting up with the management, you've got buying furniture, etc., things like that. So setup costs is a con for the HMO. If you've got any questions on the pros and cons of residentials and HMOs, please give us a message on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. We can arrange a call and go through it all with you. We actually do offer management for HMOs and residentials. So again, message us, we'll sort a team's call out, something like that, and we'll go from there.
So to sum this up, we believe that a good property portfolio should be built on a strong hold in the residentials. Yes, they don't cash flow as much, but they are far safer, and we feel them, you're more guaranteed to make regular, steady money off residentials. So that's how we're setting our portfolio up. A lot of residentials and some HMOs to top the cash flow. So, yeah, thank you.